So, I made this post like 4 months ago where I told you to give your Fallout New Vegas hot takes, and a lot of you gave some interesting ones. But then I completely forgot about the post. Just my style. So, today I'm making that due video. This can get a little spicy, so the debates are open in the comments. Henry Walton says, Legion playthroughs are underrated, especially with Nova Arizona, Factions Reloaded Legion, Retribution, and Rivals installed. Now, first, I just want to start by saying, although everything Legion does is evil and vile, unlike a lot of poorly written games, they are not mushed as dwelling villains. They have an ideology, a very flawed and twisted one, but an ideology nonetheless. They don't do it for the fun of it. And in terms of missions, both in quality and quantity, they have a lot of them. I personally believe you should do a playthrough of every faction even if you don't like them. It helps you understand them better. As for mods, we are not really talking about them in this video, but because I'm mostly a mods channel, so I guess it was bound to get into the conversation. I say use whatever mod you want if it makes the game fun for you. Next, Existence Hurt says, Independent Vegas is the best ending, mostly because you befriended some of the most influential figures in not only the Mojave but also Sierra Madre, Big MT, and Zion Valley, etc. Now, first of all, it depends on your courier. You can fuck everyone over and use Yes Man to get the throne of the Mojave. In that case, eventually the people will start misusing their independence and start fighting each other. There will be no order, only chaos, and the Mojave will fall. But if your courier chooses his friends wisely and can use his powers to make the Mojave a better place, then that is a good ending. Or is it? I think you didn't notice right at the end, Yes Man changed his software or something and said he can now be more assertive. So, what then? An AI in control of the Mojave? Maybe he just played you all this time. And now that he has control, he can fry you in a room full of secretrons.
They played us like a damn fiddle!
In the end, we don't really know what happens after, but your take was certainly a hot one. X-Class says Dead Money is actually a great DLC. I actually agree with that. I think DLC should be experimental and try new things. Dead Money did just that. It plays more like a survival horror game. The story and the characters of this DLC are multi-layered, and the use of hollow projections to create kind of ghostly scenes was excellent idea. This is definitely a hot take because not everyone likes survival horror who plays New Vegas, but I think the DLC succeeds in its efforts to be something different yet masterful. JS Freestyle says, The Fiends could have been a better faction with more quests directly related to them, and New Vegas should have also had mutant behemoths. Let me answer your second question first. I think the reason there isn't a behemoth or mutants in general in New Vegas, cause in a gameplay sense they wanted variety, and in a lore sense during Fallout 3's timeline the mutants were still actively produced, but in case of Envy they stopped getting produced years ago, so any behemoths that were left died long ago. Second is the Fiend thing. It's less of a hot take and more of what could have been, and my answer to that is crunch. This game was made in such a short time, there was bound to be a lot of cuts, and unfortunately Fiends were one of them. Shooter Flynn says, the questline for the Van Grabs that ends up killing Cassidy but paving the way for them to begin a partnership with NCR, as it's overall a good thing for the NCR. Woohoo, this is certainly a hot one, and this is what I have to say. The deal is never formalized in game. Even if the Van Grabs survive, there's no evidence they successfully supply the NCR with energy weapons. But you are saying that what if it paved the way towards the alliance? I say the NCR won't trust such backstabbing arms dealers, and even if they do, their soldiers aren't really trained to use those energy weapons. Max says, not sure how alone I am on this one, but the Brotherhood of Steel have never been a likable faction to me. They have a huge superiority complex they use to justify being to be rude to everyone that isn't them and to steal from regular people. The only sort of exception to this is the BOS in Fallout 3, where Leon's is focused on using their power to help people. Let me tell you, you are not alone. The Brotherhood were always built upon broken ideals, and that's how you write great factions, trying to justify everything they do for some greater good. Personally, for me, the Fallout 3 Brotherhood fell flat. Then again, Fallout 3's writing, at least in my opinion, is childish. Now yes, different branches can have the same goal but different ideals, but for a narrative to work you need some complexity that Fallout 3 lacked, and New Vegas had that complexity. I don't think yours is a hot take. They literally tried to kill Veronica and killed a bunch of followers, and I think many people, including me, started hating their guts then and there. Paul Joshua says, heavy armor, this includes power armors, is trash because the perks for light armor are too good. You can compensate for the defense with chems anyway. I personally think you just favor a different playstyle. Sure, light armor perks are great, but heavy armor gives consistent protection without needing to micromanage games, especially in hardcore. Power armor adds rad resistance, strength boost, and crazy DT that no perk can fully replace. Plus, relying on chems means dealing with addiction, weight management, and timing buffs mid-fight. If you want to tank through fights without worrying about buffs running out, heavy armor still holds up, at least in my opinion. But yeah, that's certainly a hot take. Snort says there shouldn't be any major faction controlling the vast terrain. The Wastelands should consist of several more minor factions. My answer is Caesar's Legion. I think what you are trying to say already happened. It just never happened in front of you. The Legion acquired so many of these small tribal regions, defeating them. And you can say I'm not talking about tribals, factions with guns can fight Legion more effectively. But yes, you might be right, but you still have the NCR. Remember Bitter Springs? With their vast army, they can take over small factions easily. Courier number 6 says, House is the best choice for Mojave and Mankind. House might be the best choice for Vegas, but not necessarily for Mojave and Mankind. House only cares about the Strip and Hoover Dam. The rest of the Mojave, left to rot. Settlers, NCR citizens, and small factions would still struggle with raiders, lack of resources, and no real governance. House isn't building a better future for humanity, he's building a utopia for himself. His vision is a corporate controlled sterile future where humanity serves his ambitions, not its own growth. Yes, this is certainly a hot take. Top says Honest Hearts is overrated. If it wasn't for Joshua Graham and Randall Clark's story, most people would forget about the DLC as a whole. Salt Upon Wounds is probably one of the worst final bosses in all of Fallout, as he just appears in the end to fight you and that's it. You are not wrong about Joshua Graham and Randall Clark carry the DLC. Their stories are what give Honest Hearts its emotional weight. But calling it overrated depends on what people value in Fallout DLCs. Even if Joshua and Randall Clark steal the show, Honest Hearts offer a unique, serene post-apocalyptic setting that contrasts with the usual bleak wasteland. The themes of faith, redemption, and survival resonate well. Although I do agree with Salt Upon Wounds, he is basically just a glorified thug with no depth, showing up last minute for a fight. Compared to other DLC antagonists, he is beyond forgettable. And lastly, today's final hot take, Blysinotul, I hope I didn't butcher that, says, New Vegas may have the best Fallout story. Narratively, it's still kind of subpar. I agree. New Vegas have great characters, have well-written dialogue, but actual story is a simple, predictable one. And that's because you are the one controlling it. They give you freedom, but that made the narrative very predictable. I personally think Cyberpunk has a better overall story than New Vegas. Some of them can live to feel hollow inside after playing. That sadly, New Vegas never did. But that's just how it goes. You gain some, you lose some. And what NV offers is something unique, and that counts for something. And that's it. There are still some hot takes left, so like this video if you want part 2. 500 likes and I will make a part 2. Also thanks channel member Huge Ass for supporting this channel. As always, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.